Hello, welcome to Salty Vibes with Heather. I think last week's podcast actually said Salty Kisses because my website is Life of Salty Kisses. But when I looked up the name for my podcast, it created it into Salty Vibes. So that's kind of Salty Kisses, Salty Vibes, kind of the same thing. Also, don't mind when I put these voice memos in. Um, I don't really do a lot of editing. I just kind of post it and go. And so sometimes there's me clearing my throat, or I don't really listen to what I say until after I post it. I just have to go with it and go with the flow, or I will talk myself out of it. So maybe one day I'll be really good at editing these and making them sound super professional, but usually I just stop and then have to go and only do a little bit editing. But for the most part, this is just raw footage of me talking into my microphone when I feel like I've been given the thought of what to talk about. And sometimes I record these. So when I say like we're in the third week of January or whatever, I may not be posting it till like the fourth week of January because right now I'm only posting these weekly. I hope to do it twice a week is my goal, but you know, who knows if people even want to listen to me or if it even matters. But as of right now, it matters to me, and this is what I feel like I need to do to go with my coaching business and my dream and my vision that I talked about on last week's podcast. So this week, I've noticed some things, especially they say your phone listens to you or whatever. um, that I was talking about our vision, my vision, like, I had this vision and all this stuff. And that I keep seeing that word pop up. And sometimes I think, maybe it's God kind of giving you the words that you've been speaking of, or that you're in the right direction that you're going to. When I talk about opening doors and, I pray about it right in my journal, and then all of a sudden I see all these like things like Bible verses and things talking about opening doors. And I'm like, okay, either my brain just told my phone that word, or it's God is showing me that I'm heading in the right direction. So I kind of look for like signs like that, like they talk about in the Bible. There was signs and ways that, especially back in the Bible times, you kind of had to follow the stars and the sun and the moon. And I think it got twisted into something that isn't good, but um it was used in the Bible. Those were things that directed people, were signs. And so I always look for them, and I see them in like numbers that have repeated, or and I'm like, okay, what is that? I'll look up the Bible verses if I see 11:11, or I call it like an angel number, or I was born at 10:10 a.m. and I see the number 10:10 a lot. So you just like see these like reoccurring things that happen, or I'm thinking about someone and I see the songs that they like, or something that in life, like, oh, that reminds me of them, or I see their letter, or I see their name. Um, so I think those are all signs that like you're in a direction of that person that's in your life or that you love really strongly. That God's giving you signs that they're your person to be in your life, or that you're thinking of them and maybe you haven't talked to them in a while, and reach out. Sometimes it doesn't always work because I had an incident happen where I have a family member that we don't talk to anymore, and I was thinking about him a lot. And it'd been a few years since we'd talked, and there's a lot to the story, but I don't really want to get into it on here. But um, I reached out, and I felt it on my heart. I felt like it was the right thing to do, and apparently it wasn't. Or maybe it was, and there's something happening behind the scenes that I can't see, and that was why I was called to do it. But when I feel something on my heart, I usually try to listen to it and then just go for it, because I feel like it's God calling me to do that, or tell someone that I care about them or think about them. It doesn't mean it's always going to turn out how you think. You might not get the response, or you might not get any response. Um, but I think more people are told that you love them and you think about them, the better this world could be. And I notice a lot online, like even like with relationships, and I'm not in one anymore. I'm currently very single at the moment, but they teach you to like don't talk to the person and ignore them, or like wait long time. You see all this stuff, this dating advice and all these things, and it's almost like you're supposed to be disconnecting from the person that you love to connect. And I don't know, I don't agree with all of it. I'm confused because dating hasn't worked out so great for me. I hate dating, absolutely despise it. I hate dating apps. I've tried them. I don't like them, and I know a lot of people find their person on the dating app. They're not saying that it doesn't happen. Um, for some reason, this day and age is a lot worse on there. There's also a lot of apps, and I kind of feel like you get stuck in the talking stage, which becomes safe because then you don't have to go any further, especially for me who is in a long term painful marriage. I carry a lot of wounds, and it's easy to stay in that and not move forward. And I'm weird, and I'm a nerd, and I'm a dork, and somebody's gonna have to like who I am for that. But I feel like the relationship advice online just, it sucks. And if you're getting in a relationship, ignore it. Don't pay attention to it, because 95% of it is completely wrong. There are some good stuff out there, but I just I think we need to get back to human connection. We're so connected in this world by social media and phones, 100% access in your hands, smartwatches, all these things. And everybody's just like burnt out. And I'm in real estate, so I feel like I constantly have to have my phone on. Oh, you might miss a call, or you got to check your email 24/7. And I know when I ran a business with my ex-husband, it was kind of the same way. Like he was on his phone all the time. And it was like you almost like it stuck in your hand, and it consumes you, where you get so stuck with it you don't even know how to like let it go. Like this idol, or this addiction that we have. And we all have these addictions, and a phone is a bad one. I mean, so many people, it's like fills our boredom. What do you used to read a book on the toilet? Now you take your phone. And I used to be really good at it, but I noticed being more alone. It's easier to be on it, and being in a business that you kind of have to be on a lot. Learning to set boundaries, not checking your emails and your texts right away. I turn off a lot of notifications. I hate when my phone's always going bzz, 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 so I turn the sound off, and it's the only way that's helping me to not um, feel like I constantly have to respond. But in that, we have to have also, because we're so connected, I think we've lost maybe some of the humanness of it. And I know a lot of people are noticing like they're going back to thinking about the old days and old technology. And my son, I absolutely love my oldest. He's a pretty cool kid. Well, young man now, I should say. He's not a kid anymore. But he noticed that his phone was consuming him, so he went to this phone called a light phone. He was on a flip phone for a while, and he only goes on to social media if he goes onto his computer, and he tries to stay off as much as possible, which I think is amazing. I mean, this young 20-year-old kid who's realizing that he wanted more than just staring into a screen all the time. And I think a lot of kids that age in that generation are starting to feel that way, like not posting as much, or not sharing every little bit of their life. And I get torn with that, because I do run a business online where you kind of have to market yourself, and then I have my my website and my Instagram page for my life coaching. And it's like, okay, well, I don't want to be part of the noise. I don't want to just post to just post. Um, am I giving benefit? And so I've been thinking a lot about that. Like, what do I post that's beneficial? Am I just posting to like fill up a void of a thing? And I get consumed. If I'm sitting alone, I'll scroll and then I see reels I like or things that speak to me, or sometimes I just dive into the deep, dark reels of silly, dumb stuff that I like because I'm bored or because I just need to numb myself for a little bit. And then I have to take a step back and like, okay. But I've been really thinking about that. Like, I went to this seminar for real estate back in November in Miami, and they talk a lot about like AI and like using them to post your stuff and using it. And I don't think it's a bad thing. And I get that businesses need it because you are getting burnt out. You need something to automate yourself, but then you lose the realness of the human side of the post. And I don't know that I'm all in for AI. A lot of people use it and think it's great, and it does a lot of stuff for you. Um, but I still don't know that that's where I want to go. And so I've been really good for the last month about posting and being updated, probably 2 months actually, on my social media. I'll do like a little post here and there, but you're supposed to post like 3 to 4 times a week to get your face out there. And I'm like, does somebody really constantly want to see my face that much? Like, is it that exciting? I don't know. Am I giving benefits? And when we're all cookie cutters sharing the same feed, and I love all my real estate friends that I'm with, but a lot of our stuff is the same over and over again. It's like boring. How do I make it exciting? How do I make it important? And I guess I'm kind of like all over the place right now, but just kind of the talk of human connection and how we've lost it. And thinking about people, and it's just been in my brain like, how do we be better? Like I talked about my vision I have, and um, meeting my person that wants to go do these dreams with me and go on these ventures with me. And I think, we need to get outside more. We need to go find some fun things that my daughter loves to call it side quests. And you go on these side quests and you find fun things to do. I bought her this adventure challenge book, and it came with a package I bought came with this Polaroid camera. And every day it has like a fun challenge you can do with your friends. Or I bought her two. I bought her one for her friends group and one for her to do solo. So you can find things to do, and every day you scratch it off and it tells you what to do. And then you can take a picture and post it in the book, almost like a scrapbook type thing. Um, which I think is a cool thing because I think people are, we share online. Like I used to think, okay, Facebook and Instagram, it's photo sharing. And then Facebook kind of got horrible with people sharing so many opinions. And sometimes I think that stuff, you're just constantly sharing your opinion or what your side is and being angry and not looking open-mindedly at the other person's side. It causes division. And that's kind of what happened when I started this podcast with about the family member that I reached out to. This division happened over a differing of a belief system. And back in the day, you'd have someone come over and you'd have coffee and dessert and you would talk face to face, and you'd get the human connection of tone and eye contact and sitting there just having a normal human conversation. Like, okay, well, this is why I believe what I believe, this is why you believe what you believe, and I love you even though we don't agree. And now it is so much hatred and so much division and hurt, and people are cutting family members off because of it. And it's, social media is a big cause of that. And I always wanted my social media to be this, like, it's like my photo album when people come over and you share your vacation photos and this is when the kids were little, and we love looking at old photos and making slideshows. And so I do this thing called 1 second of every day, and I take a photo in my phone, and it's an app, and it pulls up the photos I took for that day, and I can pick one for that 1 second. And so I'll try to pick one that maybe was a moment in that day that was really fun, or something that I did with a friend. I try to make sure I include activities to do or people that I love, family, friends, kids, my kids. Um, and then I post it every month and I like to add music to it. And man, when I was younger, I really wanted to do photography and videography. But I was in nursing school and I was going to be a travel agent. And like all these things changed because my ex-husband really wanted me to make money. And so I kind of was in nursing school and then I realized, I started having babies, it was really hard to do it and I didn't really want to do it. So I wanted to do this videographer photographer course and he kind of talked me out of it. But he did buy me a nice camera and like he would like partway support me, but not fully support me. So I guess maybe part of the reason why I love making these, I love the real to make videos of life with music to it. That's probably part of the reason why I love it. I love to do it every month. I love to post it, and it brings warmth and life to it. I feel like what is missing in Facebook world and social media world, and I guess that's kind of my goal of like marketing and social media and human connection is how can I make it to show adventures and life and joy in my life. I want to make life an adventure. We're on this earth for a short time. If we sit in our woes and our fears and our hurts and our pains and we just focus on that, I don't believe that was God's desire for our life. I don't think that was what we were made to do. And I have this amazing best friend that I've had since I was 8 years old. She was my first friend I met when when my family moved us to Colima, Washington. And she lives this life of just fun. Like she's always doing fun. She's always doing things. And every time her and I are together, we have the best time. And I live 3.5 hours away from her. Um, wish I could go see her more. If I could make the move again, I would go live by her. But she is just fun. She's just fun. She's full of joy and laughter. We always do silly things together. We love to do karaoke. We love to just laugh about dumb things. We watched dumb movies as kids, and we do these things that are just fun. And every time I see her post with her friends, and I love her friend group, um, where she's at, and they're always just going to festivals and concerts and doing neon room dances and just it's a life full of fun and adventure and joy. And that's like how I've been trying to fulfill my life. Because when I was married, we did fun things, but a lot of times my ex-husband was upset with me and mad at me and um, really made the trips not fun. So I started having more fun when he wasn't with me. And I would think, why am I having so much fun when my husband's not with me? Like, this isn't right. Like, my husband should be my adventure partner. He should be the person that wants to go do these things with me. And we did a lot of stuff that he loved, and I love. I love four-wheeling and going on the boat, pulling the kids, and we would go camping, and I would do all these things. And then also, I love vacations to the beach, and I love, going on hikes, not steep hikes, but I love walking in nature. And there's a difference, I guess. Um, but there's some things that I love to do, and he would almost like get mad at me because I wanted to do them, if that makes any sense. And then find one thing to be mad at me on that trip and then ruin the whole time would be silence treatment. And I'm just thinking, man, this is so me and the kids would go off and do our thing and I would have to like kind of cover the stress or the anxiety I was feeling and trying to make fun and my kids and I would go out and go on a walk in the dark and explore or go down to the beach and swim, just do fun things. And I am thankful they're starting to get to do that with their dad now. They just went on a trip this last month to Hawaii and they were doing these fun things. Um, Spontaneity, which is funny is because I'm an introvert and I'm kind of known as somebody I love to sit on my couch and watch a movie and snuggle up, but I also love adventure and I love spontaneity. I love getting out and just doing fun things, skiing and um, going out on adventures with friends and dancing in the rain and making snow angels in the snow, like whatever fun. going in the river and swimming. And I just want to do fun stuff. And I feel like that's what God made us to do. And human connection is that. And yes, I think people get sad because they see these things online on social media nowadays and like, oh, why don't I get to do it? But you know what? You can make your life like that. You can find fun things to do and make joy and feel alive again and find a friend who wants to go on a road trip with you, or just go do stuff. Make life an adventure. It doesn't always have to cost money. It doesn't always have to be this big extravagant thing. But I think if we start looking at it that way, and how do we post online? How do we connect with our friends? How do we do these things? Make it an adventure challenge. Go find fun to do. Let's not let the internet and the social media and this fake stuff divide us. Try to keep an open mind and look at, okay, this is why someone believes that way. And I don't believe that. And that is okay. And I still love you because we believe differently or we think differently. And maybe we can turn internet, social media, or whatever back into a fun place, back into a actual human connection. And we don't always have to answer our text messages all the time. We can wait. We can turn our notifications off and we can wait. But if they're important to you, do respond. Sometimes when I'm really tired, I'll look at a text and I read it and then I'm like, oh, shoot, because I'll forget to respond back because I get busy or whatever. But anyways, I guess there's a lot of rambling about a lot of stuff, but it was just thoughts in my head um, about thinking about people, reaching out to them, listening to our vision and our path, like I was talking last week, and wanting to make a difference, wanting to show life can be fun and happy. It's not always hurt and pains, um, but being better from those, like I said last week, um, we can find love and growth and the human connection and the tools that we're now given in this generation, in this time of our life. How do we make it better? How do we get back to the heart of what God really created us for? Um, how do we get back into the heart of sharing things without it looking like you're trying to make your life look like you're so wonderful or so good? And I know sometimes it makes me sad because I don't want people to think that when I post stuff. And so I'm like, okay, where is my heart when I share this? And that's my new direction for this year, is like, where is my heart when I'm sharing this? What is my purpose for this? And I know I have a vision, and it is to show people that life is fun. I'm making my life an adventure. And when I meet my person, that person will be my adventure with me. It's like that movie Up, and the end of the time, he's sad because he didn't get to do all the things with his wife, but when he looked at the book, he realized they were each other's biggest adventure, and that was what the story was about. The human being next to you, the person that you love, that's your adventure, that's your person. It doesn't always have to be this big extravagant thing. But who's the humans in your life? Who are the people, the friendships, the family that you reconnect to, that you love, and you tell them that you love them, because that's what it's about. Those are my thoughts for this week. If you're ever looking for a life coach, you can follow my Instagram page. I leave the links below. Thank you for subscribing to my podcast. I hope everyone has had a great week. Thank you for listening and supporting me. I hope I can make a difference in your life with this. Also, if you're looking for trauma grief coaching, check out Stronger Co. It's a nonprofit. The website, strongerco.org. Just have a great week, and thank you again.